We're going through it now. That's why us on our
Are you?
end now we have the people who are making money by stealing jokes.
You have that going on in France?
Yeah,
Or in, France?
It's actually a French guy who's doing
It's
it.
not in.
I meant
it's-
with French comedy.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it's not in Canada, but it's in France. And there was I own a club in Montreal, and I banned a guy this summer. He had stolen a bunch of material. There's a thing called the Jamel Comedy Club. It's basically
I like how even when you say comedy club, when you're saying something in French first, you have to say comedy club.
Yeah. Sorry,
It's okay.
because that's the way you say it in French.
Yeah, I get
it. But this guy, he had stolen pretty much everything from Def Comedy Jam, and they did it there in France.
I just did it with French
Yeah,
language.
and not even with black dudes. Like, if you're going to steal Def Comedy Jam, give it to French black dudes. Like, there are black dudes in France, but it was all these Arab guys. So whenever you see, like, for 10 years in France, whenever you saw an Arab comic, they were all like Dave Chappelle. So there was
Really?
there was something very fucked up. And this summer, the guy was in my club. And then I found out, and I fucking lost my mind. And I tweeted my door guy, and I was like, "Get him the fuck out! Everyone he's with, you throw him out. I don't want him in the club."
It's a dangerous thing, right?
Yeah.
With comedy.
Yeah.
You're trying to create things, and basically a criminal can sneak in the middle of an artist colony and just start profiting off of your work.
Yeah.
And intimidating you and making you work for them, essentially. Yeah.
There's something that sucks that people don't know, and that's what you went through with when you called out Carlos. No one cares. No one cares.
But they do now.
They do.
See,
but
the thing is,
they
like,
don't,
maybe
though.
your situation up there is different.
But
than
the only
it is down
reason
here.
they do now because it looks good. If it
What do you
didn't like banning Carlos now, like Carlos Mencia can't work anymore. That it makes them look like we respect comedians, but they don't really respect comedians. I don't think.
Well, who's they? And you sound like you're a conspiracy theorist. They don't respect us, man.
No, but
they're trying to get us, man.
Whenever I've called out joke thieves to festivals or networks, they're like, okay, yeah, we're gonna do something about this, and then as soon as it blows over, they don't do anything about it.
Yeah, well, you're talking about festivals, right? I think clubs would be much more likely to ban people, especially if someone who they're stealing from also works there. That's more likely to happen, especially if when in best case scenario, the person who's getting stolen from is already established and successful, so they could say something about it. The worst case scenario is someone who's established steals from open micers, which fucking does happen. And if there's anything that could get someone to quit comedy, that might be one of them. That might be that might be, especially in the beginning,
having
you're
your
an open micer,
only good joke stolen
by a person who does it on television. And then you have to watch it on Comedy Central. A couple days later, you're like, what? And you remember that guy had been in the back of the room a couple weeks ago and watched your act. And what? And then you're like, what? Like, you can't even believe it.
There's a comic in France named Gad Elmaleh, who's he's in New York now, and he works a lot in English. He did he has these rumors, and I'm going to say allegedly because I don't want to get sued
you don't
again.
get sued again.
But I know that he's taken a couple. At first, he took a couple bits from American comics. Then he got caught, so he started stealing from French Canadian comics. And the last thing I heard he did was he had this contest for open micers, and he was like, my next comedy tour, send me your 3 best minutes on tape, and the best comic I'm going to book to open for me. And then he started stealing from those open micers.
Oh, hilarious.
Which is that's such a garbage move.
It's a wacky move.
Well, doesn't sound like a good person.
Yeah, I don't, like, that's what I heard. I'm not sure it's true, but I saw him do a show once in France, and he was he's a rich dude. He's got his own private plane, and he's got his own private plane. He was married to the Princess of Monaco, so he's got a lot of money. And
what's he doing?
He was doing a bit about, like, he's just he was doing a bit about how he can't afford an air conditioner in his apartment. And I was like, motherfucker, you have a kid with the Princess of Monaco.